we're going to have Carmin come up, present from Google. She is our agency account strategist. Google obviously always doing amazing things, so we're ecstatic to have Carmin here from Google presenting on mobile and all the great things that are out there for mobile marketing opportunities. Come on up, Carmin.
Thank you guys. Thank you, Pete, for the warm welcome. Oh, I have a plank to walk here.
Yeah.
Gotta be super careful. Thanks, Pete.
Use all of it.
Yeah, I think I will. Hello, everybody. Good morning.
Morning.
How's it going? We got standing room only. This is exciting. Before I begin, I just want to thank Chris and Pete for having me here today. Less than a year ago, Pete brought myself and my coworker out to have a beer, of course, in this location. And he said, well, I'm showing you around. Here's the outside, here's the inside, and there's where we're going to have a little tiny event that we're planning for the future in this space. And I was like, okay. When I walked in today and saw all of your faces and saw all of the branding, I was just so impressed. So I just want to give it up to Semgeeks for putting this event together today. So we are in the right space at the right time. One of the most exciting things about the digital marketing space is that everybody has an extremely sophisticated machine robot in their pockets. So what are we talking about? The cell phone, of course. So today we're going to talk about why is mobile important? Why should your business be on mobile, be present? Who are you trying to reach? And then we'll talk a little bit about what can you do to get ready for the next 5, 10, 15 years. So hi, I'm Carmin. I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia, so you can kind of hear my accent come out sometimes, so feel free to bear with me. I've been working with the Semgeeks for about a year now, and this has been an awesome relationship thus far, and we just want to continue to partner with them on things like this. The way we work together is their partners are able to gain access to early Google products and get the first word from Google's perspective to help their businesses. So we're always excited to partner with them. So, like I mentioned, the way we're going to actually talk about mobile today is from the framework of now, next, and later. So, what are you doing now that you can currently leverage? What is the next step for mobile? And what are we going to be looking at in terms of what's after mobile? I know that's hard to believe, but there was a time before we all had cell phones in the first place. So, what would be the next thing after the mobile experience? Has anyone heard of this term before? Nomophobia? Anybody? No? You all have it. You all have it. It is a fear of being without not just your mobile device, but Wi-Fi. One of the first things I saw was when they put up their branding here for Beach House, they said, Wi-Fi is on the house. That's awesome. Because everyone felt very comfortable and safe because they know they can use their phones. So this is an example of how the world, humans, we're all developing because of technology. And there is a real fear that we've developed because we are missing our phone, don't know where it is, or don't have access to Wi-Fi. So this is a really interesting photo here. This is a photo of the Vatican in 2005, where all kinds of people were gathering for initiation of the next pope. So you can see there's lots of different kinds of people. They're as far as they can just to get a glimpse of the Pope. Now fast forward to 10 years later. I just have one word to say, shameful. This is like being at a concert and you're trying to see that person, but you're seeing that other person's cell phone. It's just the truth. There's nothing we can do to tap that person on the shoulder and say, please put your phone down. That's not happening. So this is how we've evolved, even over just 10 years' time. So what does this mean for businesses? Our biggest opportunity is in tiny moments. The Vatican and the initiation of the Pope is a big moment. But when we're thinking about moments that we each take part in every single day as users of cell phones, then how do businesses need to capitalize on that as a business? So we can see some of these moments here where this woman is helping this man tie his bow and he's showing her how to do it with his phone. Or it's like, should we order an Uber or a taxi? Or how do I actually make this cake? All of these are tiny moments where you all should be. For example, if you are a car driving service, you want to be able to compete. If you are a bakery, you want to be able to show up for where this woman here is looking for a recipe. If you are a YouTube user and you are all about how to teach, you want to be able to teach this woman here how to tie this bow in the moments that they need you. Does anybody have an idea of what this number is? Any guesses? Any guesses? Yes.
The amount of time you look at your phone in a day?
Boom! Somebody give her a prize. There's Google swag in the back. You guys covered. How did you know that? Because you do it.
Yes.
Okay, that's fair. She does it 150 times a day. Is this surprising? What do we check our phones for? Emails. That's depressing. Anything else? Apps.
Shipping confirmations.
Oh, confirmations? Shipping confirmations, of course. Just to check the time. Yep. Leads, yes, 100%. Text. And how many texts do you get a day?
I need to know.
Yeah, exactly. She needs to know. So yes, we all on average check our phones 150 times a day, which means some people do way more than this. So when we're looking at what we call micro moments, what we're trying to understand is this intersection between intent, what is this person actually looking for, what do they need? Context, what space are they in when they need whatever this is? And then immediacy, I need this right now. She's like, I need to know. I need to see my text right now. So these are all three topics that we have broken apart that make up these micro moments that you can take advantage of. So mobile, again, has changed how we act. It's changed who we are as people. We want three things. We want it to happen right now. We have high expectations for when our information comes in, and then when it comes to decision making, we're really not tied down to exactly what it is we're looking for. We just want to find that thing. So you'll see in just a few minutes a few stats behind that as well. So this is one of the slides that at Google we really hate because it has tons of words on it. But I think you guys are going to be able to take this presentation home with you, so please read it later. Okay? There are 4 moments that we at Google want to be able to teach you all about where to be and which one of these moments is relevant for your business. I want to know. I want to know how to get to Beach House Brewery. I want to go see Semgeeks at their agency right after this. I want to go catch a wave over in the Jersey Shore. I want to buy, I'm ready to get some beer at Beach House Brewery. How much does it cost? Right? So these are 4 different moments that you all have probably already went through as a user today in order to get here, in order to connect with each other, so on and so forth. So then how do we succeed as businesses? There are 4 ways. I'm going to walk this way because I can see some people are trying to seal that in as well. There's 4 ways. We want to be there, we want to be useful, we want to be quick, and we want to connect the dots for our users. So, showing up just gets you there. That's not enough. You want to show up, yes, that is step 1, but what happens after you're actually showing up online on a mobile device? First, 51% of smartphone users have discovered a new company or a new product when they conduct a search. How many times do you guys see something new on your mobile device every single day? Probably tons of times. So this is an opportunity for you to know that your business can compete with those giants out there if you just show up. This is one of the pieces that everyone asks about. Well, what about my competitors? So if you know that 1 in 3 of users have purchased from a company other than the brand they were looking for, that's really important. If I'm looking for black shiny shoes, that's all I want. I don't really care if it comes from Nordstrom or JCPenney. This is how your users and your clients are thinking when they're just trying to find exactly what it is they want. And then being there drives brand awareness. Obviously, we have data to back it up. Once you are actually there on mobile, we can see your logo. We'll remember that. So we're there already, but how are we going to be useful for for our clients and our users who are looking for us. 73% of consumers say they want to get regular, useful information, and this is most important when selecting a brand. So this goes back to building your brand. Who are you? I was working with a brand just the other day where their brand and their message are totally separate, but they want it to be about the goodness of giving back. And that's something that every brand can tap into. So if you were to give out lots of information about giving back, you can capture users that you may not have already been able to capture before, and then your brand is a part of that, which is really nice. So again, 51% of smartphone users have bought from a brand other than the intended one because they thought the information was useful. So make sure your information is relevant. And then 61% of smartphone users are likely to buy from companies who customize their information on mobile per their location. So it's those near me searches. How do I find Starbucks near me, for example? Those are very, very important. So we have shown up, we're extremely useful, but our speed is terrible. This kills everything that you just did before to build your brand. So this is an experience that we've all had before, right? 40% of customers will abandon a site if it takes 3 seconds. 3 seconds is a short amount of time, but when you're checking your text, when you're going on that app, and you are experiencing this 3 seconds, it's like forever when you're just trying to get whatever that information is. So 29% of smartphone users will immediately switch to another site if the app is too slow, or if your website is too slow. And then 1 in 5 dissatisfied users will never come back. So you've lost a client. You're talking about retention here. You're talking about wanting to remarket to these people with your advertising, but it may not work because they already know if they see your ad or if they see you anywhere else, your site's slow. So why go there, right? Cool. So now hopefully your site is really fast. At this point, what we want to do is be able to connect the dots for our users. How do we make this experience seamless, right? So 1, how many people buy an expensive vacation on their cell phones? Raise your hand. One guy in the back, I like that. He's like, I've been to like Trinidad and Tobago, that's my cell phone. How many people buy like groceries from their cell phone? Cool. How many people buy shoes or apparel from their cell phone? Exactly, way more. So, one thing we know is that for the one guy in the back who buys an expensive vacation on his phone, that's not typical. Typically, we want to go to our desktop. We want to be able to see the pictures. We want to scroll through. We need to see the prices. We want to see the dates. And we don't really want to do that on our mobile devices. So we start there, maybe on mobile just to say, yes, I do want to go to Trinidad and Tobago, but we might end on our desktop. How many people have a storefront? Yeah, awesome. So this is extremely important for you. We want to be able to drive people to walk in your store. There's lots of statistics as to what happens in the store now. It's completely different from 5 years ago. When people are interacting with your storefront, they're walking in. First they found you using their mobile device. Then when they actually go to your store, they're using their mobile device to price shop while they're there. But first you want to make sure that they go. And again, 82% of users, again, do things like price shopping while they're actually in your store to make a decision. Hold on guys, 1 second. Oh. Was anyone frustrated by that? Was anyone as frustrated as me by that? Short story, when Chris first saw that slide, he was like, this can't happen the day of. That slide is to show you how frustrating it is if I can't get to the next slide, if I can't get to the next moment immediately. Especially because I'm up here presenting, so I better get to that next slide pretty quickly. So, the most important topic that we have actually covered, we've covered a lot, is speed. No matter what, us as people, clients, users, we will bounce if we aren't having a good experience. So what you want to do for your business is have a frictionless experience, right? So how do we do this? Speed is number one, of course. Second is design and functionality. I always go to websites that look good. They have to look really streamlined, there has to be nice colors and branding, and that's all great, but if I don't find a button to click on, I'm leaving the site as well. So again, the clear priority here is speed. What we've seen that out of the importance of what people want to see from your site and your mobile device is that 46% say waiting for slow pages to load is the absolute worst thing. That's almost half people. Half. So a couple more stats here about people abandoning your site, how many people expect a page to load below 2 seconds, and then the fact that fast load time is important to being loyal to your brand. So this is a terrible slide, once again. It has way too many data points, it has a crazy graph, but to break it down for you, speed is not an additional investment or additional cost. It is an investment in your business. This is something that if you walk away here today, that I hope you take away and go to your developers and say, we need to minify the JavaScript immediately, right? The reason why is because if you can increase your load time by 1 second, that's a 27% increase in your conversions. Who wants more conversions? So who's gonna go call their developer after this, or who's texting their developer right now? You can tell the truth. Yep, Pete. SEMP all day. So it's not just you, and we are very friendly with some of our other competitors, but some of the larger companies are really honing in on this. This is one of the most important things for them today is speed. So with Amazon being able to reduce their latency by 100 milliseconds, they increase revenue by 1%. Does anyone know how much 1% might be for Amazon? 1%, and I hate to give out numbers because I don't know, but that's millions of dollars, I can assume, right? So let's capture some of that back for ourselves. So, how am I doing on time? Awesome, 2 thumbs up. Great. This is getting a little bit more tactical, but this is why you have the Semgeeks to help you with how to make sure this is done for your business. So, mobile forces us to rethink everything when it comes to our digital marketing strategy. There are a few things we want to keep in mind in order to reach the right person at the right time. Bidding, and all of these are very AdWords centric. Everyone know AdWords? Awesome. Bidding, making sure that we are reaching the right users on the right device. Targeting, actually making sure it's the specific user you want. Formats, making sure your ads are formatted appropriately. Measurements, actually being able to look at the right data when you're looking at results. And then the fact that mobile sites have to be fast, of course. So going a little bit further into each of these, how do we win on mobile search with AdWords, right? Bidding, targeting, formats, measurement, and mobile sites. Again, you guys can take a peek at this a little bit later. I'm just gonna roll through here. So what the winners will actually deliver, there are 4 main buckets. The right message. What are you trying to convey? You would be surprised if you asked a group of people what they thought about your website and your message, and they said something completely different than what you were hoping for, right? Right message to the right person. We don't want to waste our marketing dollars on marketing to the wrong groups of people. We want to get the exact right groups of people for our businesses. The right time and place. If I'm running a campaign around the holidays, then I want to make sure that it's targeted towards holiday gift giving or things like that, right? And then at the right price. We know everyone price shops. So how do we become very visible to make sure that our users want to come and be a part of whatever it is we are doing? Okay, so that was now, and that is probably the longer section. What we're going to go into now is next. Well, we just started introducing the topic of audience, right? So how does Google actually provide you the tools to reach that right audience? So this is nothing new, right? Digital marketing's been around for a while. So we want to just leverage the tools that we have to be able to use these for our companies. The difference is now, instead of trying to get people to necessarily walk through your door, we can reach whoever we want through online digital. So then how do we actually reach these customers? One, we're able to use Google's real-time audience insights, and then we're comprehensive across multiple different channels. As you can see, there are definitely different Google channels. Some people still today don't know, but YouTube is a subsidiary of Google. But what we're going to talk about today is just search. So it all begins with the search term. The search term is important because if I type in beer in New Jersey, that means I'm looking for beer in New Jersey, and I would hope to find Beach House Brewery, right? So what that means is you are using Google's signals about who I am, Carmin from Atlanta, Georgia, age, and all these demographic signals to pair with the fact that I'm looking for beer in New Jersey. It's very powerful data. So essentially the keyword is still the most fundamental important part of how to leverage your search strategy. Now, when we're talking about actually getting a little bit more sophisticated, bidding is that next step. How do we reach the right user on the right device, right location, at the right time? You would do so through bidding strategies. So when looking at the revolution in search, we first began looking at audiences and targeting people through RLSA on the left, which means remarketing or retargeting, which I think are interchangeable, correct? Remarketing and retargeting, they're basically the same type of thing. So we started with that, and now the things that we are working towards and that we are working on now in 2017 are retargeting and remarketing on YouTube. So that's really exciting. So you can see there's a long history with how we're continuing to innovate in this space. That went by really fast. Cool, so everybody ready to understand now that we know how to leverage our mobile devices, get the right user at the right time? What is next? What is Google thinking about as the future? What are all of you thinking about as the future? Does anyone guess what it is that I might be presenting on? What is it? Oh, over-the-top television? No. Anybody else? Boom. This side is killing it. I mean, like, right on. This is awesome. Her answer was augmented reality and VR, which is super exciting. So there's, I want to say about 4, which we're going to go over. There's 4 different types of this. And does anybody think like, okay, Carmin, this is super cool. Now you're going into the moon. This isn't for my business. You're probably thinking that. We're going to talk about what it is first, and then ways that you can leverage it and ways that other brands have already leveraged it as well. Okay, so this is really cool. This is 2 gentlemen, and no, they're not dancing. The one that is squatting down is there to actually make sure this guy doesn't fall. What they're doing is what's called a pit test, where this gentleman with the actual goggles on, he's experiencing a virtual reality experience, very basic, and the test is you get them to try whatever your goggles are, and what he's looking at is he's on the edge of a diving board, and he's being told, take a step, take a step. Almost every time, people aren't able to do so. And so this guy is making sure that in case he is bold enough to take a step, that he doesn't just fall on his face. So that is a very basic VR experiment that Google does in particular. So why are we talking about VR? Google in particular as well, we never do anything unless there's data to back it up. And we get our data straight from you all, from our users. There have been 4 times as many searches on Google in the last year. That is crazy. So VR was not a thing in 2014, and it definitely wasn't a thing in 2015, but something happened in 2016 to where awareness spiked, right? And now we are able to make projections about 2018 where we have seen exponential growth in the amount of people, businesses, users that are interested in virtual reality. So I would assume you guys want to be a part of this, right? So key concepts, there are 5, not 4. One is 360 media. What this is just 2D, but you are looking through some sort of goggles, scope. 2, VR video is 3D. 3, virtual reality, which means that you're immersed in a virtual world, which is what that gentleman was when he was on the diving board. 4, augmented reality, to your point, where we are overlaying virtual reality pieces on top of the real world. And then 5, mixed reality, which is all of these combined. So can anyone think of ways that it might be interesting to use any of these for your business? Yes. Shopping mall. That's the first one I thought of, because that's the first one I ever saw when I ever saw VR. And I think you probably said that because you have users that can come in and shop and almost touch and feel the shoes or the bags or whatever that is that they want to purchase. So excellent example.
Home purchase,
What is it?
house purchase.
House purchase? Oh, like if you want to purchase a sofa and you want to see, does it look good in your room?
No, the actual property.
Oh, to
item.
purchase a house.
Yes.
I was going way too deep there. Yes, to actually buy a house. Yeah, that's important because I want to look around the living room. I want to look and see, does it have a swimming pool? Very important, all that. Great. So there's a couple ways that VR works today. One is the drag and hold on desktop. Has anyone seen this? Yeah, cool. Yeah, this is one of the more basic ones. Second, and it gets a little bit more intense, is when you can drag and hold with your finger and look around the jungle here. This one is the one that I'm seeing more and more of every day, where you actually move your phone around, and you have to be careful not to like hit whatever that is in the real world, right? So this is really cool. And then finally, this is, anybody know what this is? Yeah. Cardboard, yes, Google Cardboard. And not to jump ahead, but I think we have a few Google Cardboards here for you. Say it again? On bars, we have Google Cardboard. So you guys can try this right after, during lunch, right? So this is really cool. First thing you do is download the Google Cardboard app. That's really simple, Google Cardboard. Second thing you do is there is a scanning code on your cardboard that you'll just pair with your phone, and then you can play around with it. So don't bump into each other. Let's like have stationary areas where we play with this, right? But we brought them for you today. Yeah, I got ahead of myself, right? So this is how it works. You unfold it, right? And it becomes a scope. One of the things that we love to do at Google, even though it doesn't seem like it, is to simplify, right? I believe this was a just regular project. I think this was a side project where somebody decided to take cardboard and actually make it into a virtual reality scope. And then, of course, there's different ways to play with this. One, as a business, there's ways to actually customize these for yourself. So somebody shout out their business. Don't be shy. It's a networking event. Solar? Trinity Solar. What do you do? What does it do?
Residential solar.
Residential solar.
Yeah.
Imagine your logo on Google Cardboard. It's pretty cool. And then maybe giving out one or two to your most awesome customers. You guys can customize these with your logo. In terms of how you actually use these for your businesses, there are ways to partner with different companies so that they can create an app for you. Now, again, this is an investment in your future in order to take advantage of those 171 billion, I believe it was, users who are searching for VR. So when you're thinking about this, you have Google Search, Display, YouTube, all kinds of channels, but this is a totally separate channel. So make sure you guys understand that. This is a whole different investment for your business. Download that. That was easy, right? So I'm finishing up here, but I want to tell a quick story about Google Cardboard. So there was a spike around 2016, and there's one company that helped make VR pretty famous, and that's the New York Times. What they did was they bought a bunch of Google Cardboard and they gave it to their subscribers for free, and that automatically increased the amount of people, imagine how many people that is, who now are aware of VR and now Google Cardboard, which is pretty cool. So you guys should be really looking into this when you're doing your 5 and 10 year plans. Let's start thinking about how we can add VR into the experiences that we're selling, what we're doing, so that we can be ahead of the pack and leaders in our industries. Thank you. So I don't know if we have time for questions. You have time for questions?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
So I want to take a couple questions. Yes. Yes.
On that cardboard, it's made just for everybody my age that remember the clicker. You know?
Yeah.
Are you saying that? Oh, I'm sorry, Tim Vasquez. Are you saying that we can take like a video tour, anything in your business? Like I run a martial arts school, so techniques. Put it on that, and then send these things out. People just like do a virtual technique or a tour of your business like that.
100%. So you're in kickboxing?
Aikido Center Madison.
Okay, everybody watch out for him. Do not cross him today. Yeah, so
Is
I
that available now? Is it in production?
No, it's available now. This is all technology available for your businesses now. So if I were to,
That's amazing. Thank you.
yeah, if I were to consult on your business, I would say it would be really cool to get users into your doors by showing them how you act and interact and teach your students, right? So maybe show a tour of your studio or a little lesson. That would be very cool, and you'd be way ahead of all the other competitors that are working with you. Questions? Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so I'm kind of curious as to your so key concepts for tomorrow, that slide. How come AR takes a backseat to VR?
Good question. His question was, how come AR takes a backseat to VR? And the simple answer is that augmented reality is just way more complicated technology that businesses don't necessarily have access to. So to be clear, what we're focused on today is the first 2 concepts we talked about, which is 360 and video. Those are widely available for you all today. All the technologies are available, but once you start getting into augmented reality, that is a higher price point, that is a more sophisticated technology. So it's there, but more people are accustomed to using VR. Yes?
Which tool could you use if you're going to build a VR app or even a 360 view? What tools would you recommend to build it?
What tools would you recommend to build a 360 app? So, frankly, I don't have the exact answer for you. But what I can tell you is if you guys do a Google search and you're looking up, if you're looking up, this is one of the things I've been looking up to prepare for today, how to get started with VR for my business. There are lists. So I've come across a list of about 4 or 5 steps that you can take from step 1 all the way to launching the app. And in between there, it'll also tell you a couple of companies that are already doing this and companies that you can partner with to create your app. So what I can tell you is the best search is how to get started with VR for my business, and it'll give you step-by-step instructions. Yes?
I was just wondering what you just said about these steps that you take.
Yes.
You get relevant search results on Google. How do I get my business to have more of those? Yep. How can I get a free quote on, residential solar or residential business?
Yeah.
How do I get my results to be framed in that way on Google?
Yes, good question. So he's saying he has a business and he wants more people to be aware of it. How do we get more people to be aware of his business and frame his results with exactly what he wants? Keywords.
Specifically the list format that you mentioned.
So he's asking for the list format. Now, what do you mean by in the list?
So, like you said, there's steps to that Google will show you, and it shows up in the first position on Google. Outside SEO, I'm familiar with that. How do I get that to?
Yeah. How do we get that to show? So you are in really good company. He said he'd already mentioned SEO, which I think we're all familiar with, which is organic activity on Google. But then there's also SEM. Wow. Search engine marketing. Wow. Semgeeks. So these guys can help you do that. the way that you can leverage SEM is through AdWords. Now, one thing I do challenge you all to do is go on and look at a few basic AdWords tutorials. When you are more familiar with keywords, bidding, and targeting, you'll be able to communicate to your agencies, or if your agencies, communicate to your clients about what you're actually looking for. So AdWords is a tool that you use to do search engine marketing. When you are working with someone like Semgeeks, for example, they'll be able to create in your AdWords account campaigns that have your ads and keywords, and some of them can have phrases to match exactly what it is you want people to look for in your business. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think you answered.
That's not what I was asking.
Oh.
I'm not certain.
Okay.
On a big cake, right?
Yeah.
Which is very
Uh-huh.
simple. It shows in the first format, the step.
Yeah.
I think he wants to see this format for.
Okay.
For relevant search terms.
Yep.
Relevant letters.
So when someone's typing in a relevant search term, sometimes you guys can see steps on how to actually do something, like baking a
You
cake.
have to build that on your site, a list, so it will be, breaks down.
Yep.
Okay.
Good point. This is typically organic search activity. So Google, and from my perspective, we live in the paid and search engine marketing. But the question is, how do we get that list? For one, you have to create it and have the right content on your website.
Okay.
And then for two, you have to show up. So that is where you can leverage SEO to be able to show up in the first position so that your users can immediately see that list. Or you can use search engine marketing to have an ad that also shows up. These are all different ways to make sure your business shows up. And once it does, we can show and feature your content.
Okay.
But first you have to have that content actually created.
Right, right. I mean, content is always a thing, so.
100%.
Yeah.
One more question? Cool, yes.
What is the future for Google Maps for small businesses?
Awesome question. What is the future for Google Maps for small businesses? We are in the process of creating all kinds of tactics and features to make sure that your business shows up, right? So the future is actually things like having pins for your business, right? But instead of having a pin, maybe we show your logo. So that's awesome. Think about when people are on Google Maps and they're searching for that next restaurant or haircut. And they can actually see your logo on Google Maps when they're trying to search you. So that's one of the ways. And speaking of ways, have you guys heard of Waze? Wow, that worked out nicely. So Waze is one of Google's subsidiaries as well. It's a really cool team. And what they do is think about how can we differentiate ourselves and leverage technology in order to make sure businesses show up and in order for people to remember businesses as they're out and about in their car. Any other questions? Cool. Well, thank you guys for having me. It's been a pleasure.